It's 9:30 a.m., and this is Centennial College Radio News. I'm Derek Morrison with Klaussen and Gord Anderson. It is currently 3 degrees and sunny outside our East York studios with a potential daytime high of 12 degrees. Now, here are the headlines. It is being reported that the torch relay has been cancelled for the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver in light of the recent protests involving the Chinese Summer Olympics. In sports, the Toronto Raptors bounced back with a big win over the Milwaukee Bucks. And in the world of entertainment, Gord will give us the inside scoop on which Canadian was selected to host the MTV Movie Awards. And now to our top story. The news of the 2010 torch ceremony being cancelled was confirmed by CTV. The CEO of the Vancouver Games made this announcement in light of the recent protest involving the current relay for the Beijing Olympics that will take place this summer. The current relay has faced protests in London, Paris, and San Francisco, where heightened security has led to negative international exposure for the Olympics. The president of the International Olympic Committee, Jacques Rogue, said the turmoil surrounding the torch relay has caused a crisis for the Olympic movement, but that the relay will continue with its next stop in Buenos Aires, Argentina. In local news, the TTC Union of Transit Workers has announced a press conference for 11:30 this morning. The announcement of the press conference has started some speculation that it may reveal if the union plans to start the 2-day notice period, which would lead into a strike. Reports from the union indicate that the talks have slowed, but the question is whether or not they have slowed to the point of a strike. Stay tuned for more information about the press conference at 11:30. On the provincial level, Premier Dalton McGuinty was reported saying yesterday that he likes the idea of switching from plastic to paper bags throughout the Ontario liquor stores. The idea comes from Nova Scotia, where the province has announced that they will make the switch from plastic to paper in the fall. They will also have the option of buying a reusable cloth bag at stores in Nova Scotia. The LCBO has tried to become more environmentally friendly by reducing the plastic in their bags by 20%, but a switch to all paper would save millions of plastic bags annually across the province. With all the sunshine and rain of spring, it can also bring dangerous amounts of water. Laura Stanley reports.
The GTA has seen almost 200 centimeters of snowfall this winter. With spring just around the corner and a much-anticipated rise in temperature, we can also be sure to see a rise in water levels. The Toronto Police Marine Unit and conservation authorities are reminding the public to be aware of dangerous waterways.
The rivers are starting to fill up, and a lot of people don't realize the power of water.
Parents and guardians are also asked to keep children away from fast-moving and dangerous streams, ponds, rivers, and lakes. Police Constable Gary Gibson stresses the importance of keeping children safe around dangerous bodies of water.
Make sure you know where your children are. Make sure they know the dangers of water.
I caught up with Kevin Tokarski, a father of 3, who had this to say.
Well, we need to teach them to stay away from the water since it'll be at higher levels and running quicker now.
Constable Gibson also warns anyone who witnesses someone who has fallen through the ice or water to call 911 and do not try and go in after them. From the Lakeshore, I'm Laura Stanley with Centennial College News.
And finally, Toronto has set the new world record for the most food donated by a city in 24 hours. The Greater Toronto Apartment Association ran the campaign for the Toronto Daily Bread Food Bank, collecting 119,068 kilograms of food between 6:30 p.m. Tuesday and ending 24 hours later on Wednesday. The drive broke the record, which was set by the city of Regina 2 years ago. And that's the latest in news, so let's send it over to Jill for the latest from the wide world of sports.
Thanks, Derek. Hey, sports fans. The Raptors beat the Milwaukee Bucks last night 111-93. The Raps needed the win with only 4 games left before the playoffs. Though he scored 32 points and 11 rebounds, power forward Chris Bosh still wasn't satisfied. He criticized the crowd for being too quiet and tried to encourage them to get on their feet. Hey, Chris, isn't that what we have cheerleaders for? It's feeling like summer out there, and you know what that means. Hockey playoffs. In the Eastern Conference, the first-place Habs head to Beantown to take on the 8th-place Bruins tonight. Pittsburgh shut out Ottawa last night, taking an early lead in the series. Penguins goalie Marc-Andre Fleury posted his first career shutout of the playoffs. Game 2 goes down Friday night. In the Western Conference, San Jose continues its streak of home ice disadvantage against Calgary. The 7th-place Flames beat the 2nd-place Sharks in last night's series opener. The win was Calgary's 4th straight postseason win against San Jose. The team meets again tonight as Calgary tries to make it an even 5. And Lord Stanley's Cup isn't the only hockey prize up for grabs right now. The Canadian women's team lost to the Americans 4-2 in China. This is their first loss to the U.S. since the 2006 Olympics. But the women have the chance for redemption when they meet the U.S. in the gold medal game on Saturday. Many Canadians would rather be on a golf course than a skating rink in the dead of winter. But for Zamboni operator Troy Forbes, it's not a question of pleasure. It's a question of business. Dave Bowden reports.
Troy Forbes has worked with the City of Toronto Parks Department for more than 20 years. He applied to drive the Zamboni at Nathan Phillips Square for the first time this year in order to keep working during the winter. While he doesn't mind the job, he says there is one thing about it he could do without.
I just don't deal with the public myself, too. I just stay away.
Forbes says he's a private man who doesn't like interacting with people. For most of his career, he's worked behind the scenes. During his 2 decades with the city, he's performed maintenance, janitorial, and grounds duties. But he says there was one job in particular that he really enjoyed. When he worked as a greenskeeper for the city's golf courses, Forbes says he had everything he needed. Being a greenskeeper allowed him to work at his own pace. Forbes said he preferred the golf course over Nathan Phillips Square because it gave him freedom and privacy.
Yeah, warmer weather. It's just better atmosphere, not as many people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very busy down at City Hall here, right?
But he says his favorite part of working at the golf course was the ability to stick to his motto.
Start work early, finish early.
Forbes says he's waiting anxiously for summer to return so he can get back to his favorite work. But he's happy to wait out winter with the job he has now.
I just go out and flood the ice, and that's it, basically. It's an easy, no-brainer job.
Dave Bowden, Centennial College Radio News.
The Blue Jays suffered another loss to the A's last night as they gave up an early lead to lose the match 6-3. Jeremy Arcotto blew the Jays' lead in the 9th inning by giving up 4 runs to give Oakland the win. Speaking of the Jays, team president Paul Godfrey says that Tuesday night's not all right for fighting. Godfrey is warning fans to be on their best behavior during games since several fights broke out in the stands at both last Friday's season opener and this week's Toonie Tuesday. Godfrey announced that booze will be banned from the cheap seats for the remainder of the year's $2 games. Toonie Tuesday will be scrapped altogether if the fans don't become lovers, not fighters. After the break, we'll check in with Gord for a look at what's going down in Hollywood.
There are 2 things in this world that Brad loves more than anything else.
Hi, I'm Brad.
Karaoke.
Saying I love beer is the understatement of the year.
And beer. And when Brad and his buddies hit the local bar to become rock stars for the night, they drink Molson Canadian.
There's a beer I love. Canadian's the only one. Oh yeah.
Brad doesn't always do a great job, but he sure has a lot of fun.
How do I live without beer? Canadian.
Molson Canadian.
It's close to midnight. Got my Canadian right by my side.
Proud supporter of karaoke dreamers everywhere.
Welcome back, and good morning, entertainment lovers. Comedian Mike Myers is set to host the MTV Movie Awards on June 1st at the Gibson Amphitheater in Universal City, California. This marks the second occasion the Scarborough native will host the award show. In a press release, Myers stated, quote, "Hosting the MTV Awards is like a party but without having to do beer runs in your mom's minivan. We do beer runs in Will Smith's 4-story motorhome," unquote. NBC News anchor Katie Couric is reported to be leaving the network after 18 months on the job. Currently, the sunny, happy newswoman is costing her network $15 million a year. There is also speculation she may exit her CBS contract before it expires in 2011. A new holiday is making waves across the GTA. March 14th is widely known as Steak and Sex Day. It's an annual event billed as the Valentine's Day for men. The concept has been growing in popularity over the past few years, thanks to a Toronto radio station. Will Masgay reports.
Valentine's Day may be the most romantic day of the year, but according to Flow 93.5, it's got nothing for the guys. The radio station is promoting Steak and Sex Day, a holiday which lets women pay back their men for how thoughtful they were on February 14th. The idea is women set aside March 14th to cook their husband or boyfriend a steak, after which other activities take place. The concept was brought to Flow by Wayne Williams, their program director. Williams explained that the idea came from a lewd email circulating the net.
When I was on the air during the afternoon drive show, I just as a joke one day, kind of changed the email to Steak and Sex Day, and just lined it up and just had some fun with it.
Flow does promotions for Steak and Sex Day every year. Their promotions director, Venus Santos, explained the motivation behind the idea.
People that don't want to, go into all that fuss and hype around buying cards and flowers and chocolate and, just show your love in a different way.
According to Santos, the concept took a little while to catch on. Some restaurants were less than enthusiastic about sponsoring such a risque event, but attitudes have changed. This year, the station's listeners can win a steak dinner at Enfield Fox Restaurant Lounge in Mississauga. Santos said Enfield is very excited about it. Flow is campaigning to make Steak and Sex Day a national holiday. They have a petition on their website. This is Will Masgay with Centennial College Radio, signing off.
And finally, Ashley Simpson and Fall Out Boy bassist Pete Wentz formally announced their engagement yesterday. Simpson released a statement on the People magazine website confirming the speculation about their engagement. The pair have been dating since 2006. That's all the news from Red Carpet Land, and now we throw it over to Derek.
Thanks, Gord. That's the news for now. You can hear more news coming up in about 15 minutes on the internet at ondemand.centennialcollege.ca. On behalf of all of us here at Centennial College Radio News, thanks for listening. Have a great day.